Okay, thanks Peter. Enjoy.
Do you want some?
I'll try it. Let me try it. Okay. God, that's delicious.
Fresh.
That is really, really nice.
Do you know how healthy this is?
That's delicious.
It's antioxidants.
You can taste it. It's very, very good. Over to you, Peter.
Right, morning Mike. So, the first question that comes to mind is how much fruit do we put versus greens? For me it's simple. It's a kind of a 70-30 rule. The bulk of your smoothie has to be greens and the rest is fruits and vegetables. Because the fruits will add a bit of sweetness and the greens will be the bulk of the base. What we're going to start off by doing is putting in some water into our blender jug. Remember, as we said before, the difference between blending and smoothing is great. When you blend, you retain all the fiber in the fruit and veg. I've put around 300 mils of water there. What you want to do is you want to start by the fruits that are easy to blend up first, so the soft fruits. So let's put our banana in there. As it is, you'll notice there's not much prep, not much chopping is needed. Our avocado, just squeeze it in there. You don't have to be all neat and tidy. And now we go for our kiwis. Very simple, just scoop them out of the skin like that. Kiwis packed with vitamin C and add a lot of sweetness to the smoothie to balance out any bitterness that you might get from the veg. Spoon of pomegranates. I have some apples. Notice just like that. Some cucumbers and carrots you want to throw in midway or towards the end because they're a bit harder to blend up, but this machine will chew them up in no time. And some black currants, a few blueberries, and what I like to add every day is some celery as a great source of fiber. Now, after all that's done, we can add our greens in, starting off with bok choy. Well, normally I use a plastic knife not to taint the veggies with any steel taste, but it works fine if you don't. This is your bok choy, and over here I have delicious kale. Now you might find you get to a point where the blender is already full up. Now when it's full, what I suggest is you put it on the machine, on the blender, and there's just a little bit on low, down further, and you can keep stuffing it. Not too much though, you don't want to compress them, you want to keep them all aerated and still leave space for all our boosters. Now, when it comes to boosters, today I'm going to add some almonds. Lovely almonds. Just a tablespoon of those. Now remember, this smoothie is good for 4 adults. It'll make you 2 liters of delicious, nutritious green smoothie. Here are some flax seeds, just a tablespoon, should be fine. Chia seeds. You could go with 2 tablespoons, but I'll just stick to 1 today. And finally, my personal favorite, spirulina powder. And 1 great big heaped teaspoon should do the trick, but you can easily add another one. Won't do any harm. It'll just give you more and more benefits. Right, that's ready to go. I'm going to top it up with a bit more water and place it on the Vitamix blender. This is the 5200 model to get a really smooth consistency. Cap on, otherwise you'll have a green smoothie painted kitchen. Start low, so we're going to start low and then flick it onto high. Here we go. between 30 seconds to a minute until it's nice and smooth. And while it's blending, you can always lift up the lid and check if it's a good consistency. If not, if it's too thick, you can always add a bit more water. And there we have it. I'm going to pour them into 4 large glasses, half a litre glass each. And that is pure health and nutrition in a glass, full of fibre. Perfect. And there you have it. Cheers, Mike. There's yours.
Cheers, Peter. That looks fantastic.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Thanks, Peter. See. Good morning, Peter.
Morning, Mike.
Okay, smoothie number 2. What's our ingredients today?
So, today we're going for a very basic yet nutritious smoothie. Once again, the base is with a whole bunch of spinach, and then we have some red cabbage. Always remember, the more colorful the fruit is, the darker in color, the more value it has. That's about it in terms of base. We're going very simple. Included inside will also be your cucumber, carrots, celery sticks for the fiber, some pears for sweetness, as well as oranges. Not to forget the avocado, which of course has a lot of beneficial oils in it and adds the kind of a thickness to the texture of the smoothie. Once we pop these in, I'll move on to the boosters. So, as usual, we'll start with our water. Put in around 200 ml, 250. Then we'll throw in the soft fruits first, so the bananas, which I have already chopped up. Let's throw in the cucumbers, 1 cucumber, oranges, there you go, and the pears. You don't really have to chop up them, very small, you can keep them in chunky pieces, saves a lot of time. Celery, then for the cabbage we will just slice it like that, pop that in, then take the avo, we will take the pip out and squeeze the avo out of the skin very easily, no wastage over there. And finally, go ahead and fill the rest of the jug with the spinach. Today I've chosen to use baby spinach, but you can always use regular normal spinach. It doesn't really make a difference. What's important is the nutritional content. Okay, now once we have our jug all full, we're going to move on to the boosters. Today I feel like a bit of coconut, so we're going to use this desiccated coconut and put in 2 tablespoons of coconut, very beneficial in the oils, and pumpkin seed, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, you can see them there. A little bit of bee pollen. As I said earlier, if you're vegan, you might not agree with me on the bee pollen, but adds a lot of nutrition and sweetness to the smoothie. And finally, a large tablespoon of cashew nuts.
They're delicious.
Remember,
I've been eating
the nuts should always be raw and not roasted, because when you roast nuts, it changes the composition of the oils in the nuts. And there you have it. Now, onto our Vitamix blender. Here we go. Put the lid on. And that should do the trick. You have a perfectly blended Smoothie, no lumps, no bumps, due to the high speed of this fantastic blender. Now I'm going to fill up my 2 liters of smoothie, which is good for 4 people, 4 adults. And there you have it. Let's have a taste, Mike. Cheers.
Cheers.
Can you taste that coconut coming through?
Yeah, it tastes totally different.
Delicious.
Totally different experience.
And you'll notice that the color as well this today is not as green as yesterday because we have not added any spirulina today, so it's a much more natural spinach green.
Much lighter, it feels a lot lighter as well. Okay, so that's recipe number 2. Tastes very, very good, Peter. Thank you very much.
Glad you enjoyed it, Mike.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good morning, Peter.
Bye-bye. Morning, Mike.
And what have you got for us today?
So today we're going to be going a little bit more simpler than usual. We found some fresh watermelon at the market, so we decided to throw that in. It wasn't part of our weekly ingredients, but there's no harm in picking up things as you go along. Today the base of the smoothie will be romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce is packed with protein. For watermelon, it's full of antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. We have our carrots, cucumbers, apples for sweetness, celery for a great source of fiber, and blackberries, red currants, and blueberries. And then we'll get to the boosters later on. So let's start by pouring in 2 cups or around half a liter of water. Many people like to use almond milk and things like that, but I just go for the pure natural water as there's no added sugars or anything like that. So let's start off with the watermelon, a bowl of that, our celery sticks, throw in the cucumber, a whole carrot, blueberries, a few blackberries, and remember when you're putting the red currants in, just to remove them off the stem, because that stem might be a bit tricky to get grinded up, blended up. And our apple, looking very fruity today. And finally we'll top up the jug with the romaine lettuce. Now if you remember from day 1, if you find that your jug is a little bit full, don't compress it too much. The best thing to do is simply go ahead and blend it down a little bit to give you more space for the boosters. So all you need to do is put it on low, just to win you some space at the top of your jug like that, with a tablespoon of chia seeds. And you'll notice today I'm putting quite a lot of extra nuts, sunflower seeds and walnuts, because the romaine lettuce and the watermelon together will make the smoothie very watery. So by adding these extra nuts, it will allow the smoothie to come out with a good consistency, not too watery. And here's our final tablespoon of my favorite spirulina powder, which is basically blue-green algae. And we're good to go. So we're going to blend this all up.
Good idea to put a lid on here.
Don't forget the lid, else you'll have a very messy kitchen. Always start your blending on low and then flip it to the high button. That's about it. Very quick today. Ultimately great for 4 people. And there you have it. Mike?
Okay. Thanks, Peter. That's a very green smoothie today.
Green from the spirulina, perfect consistency. Cheers.
Cheers, Peter. Good stuff. Okay, thanks, Peter, and see you again tomorrow.
Welcome, Mike. Have a great day.
Cool. Okay, Peter, so this is now smoothie number 4.
Right.
What are the ingredients for that one?
So, how are you doing, Mike?
I'm good, thank you.
Today we're going to have a mix of collard greens and baby spinach. And in the mix we're going to have our celery, some kiwis, a couple of strawberries, half an avocado, because remember, you don't want to have too much avocado because it becomes very fattening, and half an avo is perfectly enough, although the fats are really good for you. Banana, some carrots and some cucumber. And then we'll get to the boosters later on. So let's start off by adding around half a litre of water, or 2 cups of water. There you go. And we're going to throw in our cucumbers, the avo, put that all in there, banana, remember you don't need to chop it up too much, celery, there we go, and some kiwis. A nice way of getting the kiwi out is just scooping it out of the skin without any wastage. Throw in your carrots, the other half of the kiwi, like that, comes out perfectly, and the strawberries. Now, these are our collard greens. I've already chopped them up because they are quite tough. The leaves are quite rubbery, so the smaller you chop them, the better, in case you get any strands. And finally the baby spinach, packed with nutrients. Remember to always wash your greens very well. Good. Now let's get that onto the blender. Let's add our boosters. I always love almonds in the mix. Today we're going to add some flax seeds. Look at those. Organic. Pumpkin seeds. Big tablespoonful. And some coconut powder. We'll put in 2 tablespoons desiccated coconut powder, and we're ready to blend. Remember to start off low and then move to high for longevity of the blender. And there you have it, a perfectly blended green smoothie. Look at that consistency, Mike.
That looks fantastic for you. I can't wait to drink it.
Pour them into our glasses. Here we go. This should make us 2 litres, ready to guzzle down in the morning or any time of day. Top them up.
Looks very bright green today, Peter.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, on to the next one.
There you go.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, Peter, so day 5, it's our 5th smoothie. And what are you going to do with us today?
So, Mike, if you remember at the beginning of the week, we purchased enough ingredients to make 5 smoothies for 4 people for 5 days. As you can see, we have the last remaining ingredients from our weekly shopping, and we're going to make a smoothie out of it. You have your romaine lettuce and bok choy. We're going to add in some red cabbage and a lot of sweetness today, some pears, apples, oranges, black currants and blueberries. As usual, we'll start off with 2 cups of water, or around 500 ml. A lot of people like to use coconut water, almond milk, things like that, but I go 100% natural, no added sugar, nothing like that with water, because you have more than enough nutrition in what you're putting into the smoothie itself. We'll throw in our black currants and a handful of blueberries. These are organic blueberries. Our oranges, well, that's 1 orange, 1 apple, 1 pear, and when it comes to the bok choy, we'll just chop it up a little bit, like that. No need to overdo it on the chopping because the blender is super powerful in itself. You can use the entire bok choy, so there's no wastage. And the red cabbage, you might think that it adds too much bitterness, but you'll be surprised. You won't even taste the cabbage once it's all blended together. And finally, the romaine lettuce. All that must go in nicely. There you go. Now what I'm going to do is, before adding the boosters, I'm going to pop this on the blender just to lower the volume a bit. That's enough. Now we have enough space for our boosters. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. There you go. 1 tablespoon of cashew nuts, which are packed with excellent oils. 1 large heaped tablespoon of spirulina powder. Actually, let me put 1.5. It's really good for you. And finally, I'm going to put just the tip of a teaspoon of turmeric powder. This is purely optional, but it is super good for you, anti-inflammatory properties. That should be enough, because if you don't want to have too much of that, the flavor will be too strong. Let's pop the lid on and we're ready to blend. Mike?
Okay.
Alright, look at the color of that.
That's so green.
Let's do the pouring. Oh, that actually, I can smell the freshness from here, all those delicious fruits that we put in. Look at that, Mike.
Looks good. Looks
Best
good.
way to start your day. There we go.
Thank
Look
you.
at the colour of that. Cheers.
Cheers, Peter. That looks amazing. Thanks, Peter. I know that was a massive undertaking to do those 5 smoothies one day at a time, but we've got it done, and I hope that the viewers are going to enjoy that.
I hope so too.
Okay, thanks, Peter.
Cheers.
There's 5 smoothie recipes for you there, and every one of them tastes pretty amazing, and they're full of nutrients and very good for you. All the ingredients are listed below in the comments section, so if there's anything you need to get, just have a look down below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.